All right. We back. Yeah.
And happy to be back.
How you doing, babes?
Doing great. This is Efia, and welcome to the So Here's the Thing podcast. So, just a warning, this podcast will be about politics, but we're super excited to share kind of our thoughts and, of course, get to know what you all are thinking about the crazy state of the world. Al and I talk about all the time that this is like one of those times where I'm excited to see what's going to be written down, and that's why I think it's so important that we do our part and share what's our history, so that it can be recorded and we can be a part of that story, because, the person who tells the story gets to tell the story, if you know what I mean. Am I right, Al?
That's right, man. History is only told by those who wrote it, man. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't write your own history, then it's lost.
Absolutely.
But I'm actually excited, man. I mean, embarking on this journey with the wife, Also, too, can I plug my show in here?
Dang,
is that appropriate or not? No, it's not appropriate, man. So
go ahead and plug your show, honey.
I can?
Sure.
Well, if you have not tuned in to the Middleman Talk Show, we are live every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time on blogtalkradio.com/The Middlemen. Appreciate that, man.
I appreciate you keeping it shorter than you did last time.
I did.
Boom, cha-cha. I wish I had one of those sound effect things. I feel like in one of the previous podcasts I said I was going to get one. I'm still working on it, okay?
Yeah, we'll get it together.
To my adoring fans.
We'll get it together.
But like I warned you all earlier, we'll be talking about politics. Now, Al and I sit around the house and talk about politics all day. And so this is going to be our chance to kind of share those thoughts and ideas with you all.
Right.
So let's first start by just giving you all a little bit of information about us and about kind of if you had to label what you believed or put it into a sentence or give like a traditional political label to it, would you be able to do that? And how would you label your political views?
I mean, I know who I am. I know how I think as far as I feel like everyone should have what they need. There's enough money out there to make sure everyone has a place to stay, something to eat, and healthcare. All right. Nobody should be out here.
That's, right now what I'm asking you is if you had to label it, like...
I'm trying to come up with a label. Like, I don't have a label for it, but I would say...
So you wouldn't say you were a Democrat?
I mean, currently I've been voting Democrat. I mean, that's all I have been voting. I mean, as a Democrat.
But when I asked you to label yourself, you found calling yourself a Democrat. That didn't come to mind.
Well, I don't like the labels.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the label is like an either or situation. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I feel like as people... we should always think back to our basic needs. And so if those needs are being met, hopefully everything that we do after that will help improve those needs.
Okay. So it sounds like you're a democratic socialist. You want the government to help you all meet the needs of the people.
I'm not for how certain things are run. Or ran in the government, I would say. Certain things are put in place for a reason. Yes, we need those things. But then how certain things are executed, like, why, man? Like, y'all are wasting time out here.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same place. But I did take some time to try to figure out my label, just so you know. So I would say that sometimes I'm a conservative. Like, exactly what you said. Some parts of the government are really inefficient. And it seems like there's got to be a better way to do it, or that they just shouldn't have any part in doing that anyway. And in general, I thought that's what conservatives believed, was like in small government, and the government didn't have any business in your business. You can do business the way you want to. You can have your gun or whatever. But, I'm not sure that they believe in that all the way through, because a lot of conservatives have that whole abortion thing going on where they really are hung up on the abortion rights. But doesn't that go against everything else? You don't want the government in your business, but you want them in that business. Or the whole thing with, gay marriage. You don't want the government in your business, but you wanted the government to stop people who wanted to get married from getting married. And I just feel like, I don't know, but I am socially liberal. Like, I believe that do what you want to do. Like, as long as you're not causing harm to anybody else, isn't that the point of living in America? Right. Like, that you get do what you want to do as long as you're not harming anybody else economically or physically or, whatever.
But I also feel like this too, and to get back on as far as, what people label themselves. So we have all these politicians out here that we have to vote for every so often, right? I feel like the majority of them aren't really what they say they are anyway. They go with either what was taught to them or what was financially the most benefactor for them. Well, that's just my opinion now.
Isn't
that... know what I'm saying? Or going with like if my dad was a big time, I guess you would say, politician and he was a Republican, he definitely gonna have me coming up right behind him because I'm coming in to take over the rest of the businesses. And so, of course, he gonna expect me to do what? Vote Republican. So, I mean, what? That's how I feel like it's been running, man.
So you feel like a lot of people just vote what they're used to voting and they're not informed?
Yeah, most definitely. Now, we are living in an age where the information can be easily found if you know how to search for it. And if you have the resources to find information.
Okay, so thinking about that, one thing that I think is really crazy today is that I don't think that's really true.
Damn.
Like the idea that you can just go and find the truth
that you need,
that's not true. Like you can get on the computer and you can Google something, but if you have an article from the New York Times and then you have a video from Fox News and then you have 6 YouTube videos, like I don't know that it's that easy. And so what's interesting, and I keep saying this about us putting our story on record, it's like, years and years from now, you know how in school, when you're in history class or English class, you would like read letters from the home front, like letters from the war or like diary entries from people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like our YouTube videos, our podcast, that's our modern day version of that. And what I find strange is that when we would read those letters or diaries, they all basically said the same thing. But 100 years from now or even 50 years from now, next year, you'll look at all the commentary from this period and it doesn't all say the same thing. Like, depending on what channel you watch, you live in a whole different country.
Yeah,
and that's really crazy. And so I don't know. I would have to disagree with the idea that you can just
that's
search something and get the good information.
I can agree with that. But I also have to say this too, like the information is out there. Yes, we do have to learn this information. We need to teach it to our friends, family, children, etc. As well. We need to have a healthy conversation about it. The only way we can actually
go ahead.
Solve a lot of these problems. And I feel like normal people should run for office.
Okay, when you gonna run for office?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm finna run right now, but I did have a vision of me running.
You would be like the only person in the whole world who doesn't have any skeletons in their closet.
Man, get out of here.
Like everybody who knows Al knows what I'm talking about. But like, anybody else I think that's kind of why the media treats people like that. That's why they get all in your business. That's why they drag out your sister-in-law and obscure family members, I feel like they try to discourage normal people from running for office to make you feel like you can't do it or you shouldn't do it, or, you know, you're just a social worker, you're just a teacher. Who do you think you are, you know, to run for office? And I feel like you're almost discouraged from trying to get involved. But let me ask you this. Since I know how passionate you are about the subject, for all the people out in podcast land who knew, right?
I didn't know either.
Right. Well, people be like all the time, oh my God, I bet Al never gets a word in with you. You talk so much and he's so quiet. And it's just the opposite at home. I have to give him hand signals so I can talk.
Ain't no way.
I'm over here doing all kind of fake sign language. Like the people on the news, have you all been hearing about that? How all these, all the police station and the mayors are hiring the sign language people, and they're not always real sign language people. And it has just tickled me. And so all through this crisis, when I've been watching all the different governors do their briefing, I've just been so tickled by the sign language person. So I'm over here trying to get a word in with Al, having to do all kind of sign language. But where was I? My goodness. See, that's why I can't even with Al.
My bad, man.
So Al, since I see how passionate you are about this topic, I'm going to give you a chance to answer, but I'm going to put a timer on you.
What?
Okay, so I want you to be succinct. I'll give you 90 seconds, but that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So be succinct. Give me like 3 or 4 good sentences.
God.
You ready?
Yeah.
What do you think of Donald Trump? Your time has already started.
Oh man, like
No, I'm kidding.
It's so many things that come to mind. I try to be the most positive person in the world, but I can't. I can't say anything. Like, I feel like he knows what he's doing, right? When he's saying all the stuff that he's saying on TV, he's doing it on purpose anyway, because he feel like he can just get away with it. 2, money is important to him, not the people. 3, he's probably looking at it like, well, since it ain't happened to me, well, I got to worry about it. This whole situation.
So you disagree with Donald Trump?
I mean, I'm telling you how I feel about him. I feel like he's saying what he just needs to say to keep his base going. Because he got people in his ear, right, that's telling him what he should be saying to make sure.
Like good things that he should be saying? Or is somebody in his ear telling him to say the bad things that he's saying?
The good things, but he's also saying whatever he still wants to say anyway.
So I guess my question for you that I'm trying to clarify, I don't understand what you're trying to say with the people in his ear.
Yeah.
All the crazy stuff you saying, all the crazy stuff that he says, you think Donald Trump is responsible, or do you think there are people around him that are putting that in his ear? What were you trying to say?
As far as when he has to say good things to make sure that he covers his base, right? His people that follow him, and also to make sure that he continues to have the trust of whoever trusts him out here, right? But all the other stuff that he be saying out here, like the Chinese flu and all that, excuse me, I don't mean that now. I'm just repeating what he said. He's saying that on purpose. So
that's Donald Trump saying the bad stuff. And then when he reads the teleprompter, that's the people telling him that he should do that.
Correct.
Okay, great. So, in terms of, you know, that Batman quote, you know, that Batman is the hero that Gotham deserves, but not the hero that they need.
Right.
You know, because Batman is a rough, gruff type of guy. And, you know, they don't get a shiny Superman hero. They get Batman because Gotham City is grimy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel that way about Donald Trump in America. Donald Trump is not the president that America needs right now. But he's the president America deserves. Because...
Man.
Hold on. You know what?
Man.
everything that
That's
you
rough
get
right there.
is a reflection of what you put out.
That's right.
Me and Alan were talking earlier today about doing an episode about energy, about karma, about, our beliefs and that kind of thing. And this falls just right in line with it.
That's real.
All this hostile online stuff and the Twitter bots and the fighting and the canceling folks and the saying whatever you want to people. All of that stuff, like, he is a reflection of that. And so, like, when you talk about karma, you get you get what you deserve. And I think America really asks for this. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those bad cartoons where you keep putting the sewage and the toxic sewage all together in the dump, and then the monster comes out, it terrorizes everybody. It's like the American people and social media were each of those little pieces of trash that we're throwing out. The bad comments. Yep. The shaming, the slam books. Oh my God, I just showed my age, didn't I? Yeah. Comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. So, and then, all of that stuff rolls up together and creates the president that y'all deserve. Because you got what you put that stuff out there. And I feel like, I don't think that everybody who voted for Trump is racist. But I do feel like I could not vote for somebody in spite of all of the horrible things that they did.
Right. Like
the idea that people say, "Oh yeah, I knew about that, but I'm not concerned about that one little thing because so and so did this and so did this." Like I can't do something in spite of all the horrible things. I was always told to create a list of pros and cons. Did y'all create a list? I don't think so. Because, you could say you want the economy to be great, but that's just one thing out of 80. So you got 79 horrible things and one good thing. It's still not adding up.
It's like they just rolling with the punches, man. Like, it don't matter what went down. They vote is unswerving.
But I think that, once again, that's the president that they deserve, because the other piece of this is, man, and we're getting serious on this podcast, but the other piece of this is that the Republicans have planned this out for such a long time, and they want their judges, and they know how old all the judges are on the Supreme Court, and now they got a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Right? And, I secretly think he is going to let the pandemic explode so that, one, some of the justices can be succumb to it, and then two, so that it's so bad that he has to push the election, and that's a scary thought. And so, like, I'm uncomfortable with people who are so willing to overlook the bad. And I'm not saying that people are perfect, but like, you can't overlook every single bad thing. Right. That's how you get killed. Like, all the warning signs are going off.
Yeah.
And you idiots keep going back to them. I do not understand,
Right.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, so we stay in a place where we did have the opportunity to go ahead and vote in the 2020 Democratic primary. And Al, do you want to share who you voted for?
Should I?
Well, let me tell you my story. First, I started out as being really on board with Elizabeth Warren. So much so where I joined like the little, group. I donated and all that good stuff. Went to the watch parties. And I was really confident and really loved her energy and her plans and everything.
Right.
And then she, did decide to suspend the campaign. And so I went to Can you all guess who you should go to naturally if you were sitting there with Elizabeth Warren, who was purporting free college and canceling student loans and Medicare for all? Who do you think I voted for?
Bernie fucking Sanders.
Ding, ding, ding.
I did too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But, I was a little bit disappointed in Elizabeth Warren when she didn't endorse him. And it kind of makes me feel like, man, you didn't care about any of the things you wanted. Because if you did, you would have endorsed Bernie Sanders. I mean,
like, for real. I mean, and then Andrew Yang.
It was so crazy.
Like, what?
Andrew Yang was talking about giving people $1,000 a month. Yeah. And he also didn't endorse Bernie Sanders. But I think it's really crazy. And so I loved her plans and how organized it was and everything. And when she didn't endorse him, I was just like, that made her look bad. It didn't really make him look bad.
It did.
At all.
It did. So, but I mean, she had a good time on the on Saturday Night Live, but she should have did that.
But that was after she had already dropped out.
Right, she should have did that a week before. I think if she would have did that a week before, man, that probably would have helped her out, man, for real.
So, Al, if you ran for office,
yeah,
what would be your platform? Like, I'm going to have to give you a piece of paper and a pencil, I know, so you can check it off. Because you're going to name 50 million things.
You know it, man.
But, like, what would be, say, the top 5? And if you can do it within 2 minutes, I'll give you a top 10. But who knows? I know how you are. So, a top 5. Like, what would be the major proponents of your platform? What would you do if you were President Harrison?
Free health care, and to make sure we have all the resources we needed with that. Student loans are paid for, free college tuition, because school would be better funded. We could take some of the money that we just threw into the stock market and throw it back into education. See, definitely something to fix our education system.
What would fix
to make it more relatable to the children's needs. Not so much you're teaching towards a test all the time. Building more skill sets, teaching them everyday life skills as well, because we don't have life skill training in school.
So you want like a national curriculum that's going to teach the kids? No, I'm just saying,
I'm just giving ideas.
So, okay.
I'm just giving ideas, but there's just extra things you can throw in there.
So I suppose that if I were going to run for office, I would have way more than 5 things to do. I'd be like Elizabeth Warren. Like,
I mean, yeah,
100 plans.
I have a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
And I would already have my cabinet lined up. And all my diplomats, everybody who I would send into all the different countries.
Already picked.
But I would definitely do Medicare for all. So just like you, free health care. I would probably try to get rid of assault weapons, like military grade style. So I would consult with like the generals and ask them, and consult with the police too, because
right, like
police,
why do you need
believe
a gun
it or not,
that's just gonna blow like a person's whole entire torso away?
Correct. And for people who use certain things for hunting, then just use the hunting type guns. Those other guns shred the meat, right? It's not for hunting. Right. But anyway, so I would do that. Of course, just like you, I would take care of public education. I heard what you said about funding. And I've been thinking about that for a while, because right now the funding is like based on the property values or something in the area, like the millage. But that's always going to have, inequalities in schools, because neighborhoods don't have equal home values.
They don't.
And so I think that there should be like a blanket You know, like collect all of the taxes from all of those homes and then split it
And like,
up that way. And I think that'll be that'll fund your stuff, I guess. I don't know. But of course, I love the free college and, you know, at least free 2 years. And I think we can transition like a lot of careers to be 2 years. I feel like a lot of the careers that people spend a long time in college, you don't have to. And it's not the best use of time. So I feel like there are more careers that you could do in 2 years that people do in 4 years, but you shouldn't have to.
right.
Of course, women's reproductive rights, so keeping your right to choose. Of course, I want, you know, lots of military troops to come home, but also I would want to send all the diplomats back to where they are. I heard that with Trump, like, we don't even have ambassadors somewhere. So, like, when stuff like this is going on, like, you know, they're calling the embassy and the phone's just ringing like in a bad movie.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. I can't believe the stuff is way down on my list. But I would do a major infrastructure bill. We need new roads and bridges and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would combine that with the Green New Deal and get high-speed rail and give people a lot of jobs and stuff. I don't see anything wrong with any of these things. I think we can do universal basic income and give people checks. And check this out. You can get the check, but every adult older than 18 can get it. But the catch is you have to vote at least once in every 24-month period.
That's easy. But can I say something with that, man? Like, you know, several times in history, they have given companies lots of money for bailout, right? I understand.
Yeah.
Right? Some of that money could have went to the people, because if people have more money to spend towards your corporation, what's that's going to do? Give you more profit, right?
Yeah, so I think that's why the universal basic income has been such a great idea, and everybody's so excited about these, you know, stimulus checks or whatever y'all gonna call them.
Yeah. But I'm just saying though, like, why wouldn't we have that in place anyway? Like, to me, it makes sense, because you got companies that went on cruises and gave their employees $1 million bonuses when those could have went to the people. But this was like bailout money.
So I think, you know, I don't know if the bill has passed, but that's one of the hang up now, is that there is a lot of eagerness to give bailouts to corporations that are losing money right now, but they're not wanting to give ordinary Americans a bailout. And there are going to be a lot of people out there who aren't making rent, who aren't making mortgage payments, aren't making car notes.
That won't be able to buy anything from your corporation. So
Absolutely.
You're still going to lose money.
So you building out the airline industries, but it's still going to be quite a while before most people can afford to fly.
Y'all doing all this production and stuff like that, but you don't have anybody to do what? Buy the commerce.
Absolutely. So here it is. It is coming towards the end of March. And technically, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are both still in the Democratic primary. Let's fast forward to November.
Right.
Like coronavirus and all. You woke up tomorrow. It was election day in November. What does reality look like?
We voting electronically, man.
What do you mean?
It's probably going to be a letter you're going to get in the mail, just like how we got from the census. You're going to go to this particular site.
Oh, by the way, check your mail. You should have your census mailing. You can do it online. It literally takes 3 minutes. Go ahead, honey.
It's probably going to be like that, and just go on there and check. And hopefully the system will not be fraudulent or have any issues to where next thing we know, we see on the news, somebody hacked it. I don't want that. Like, I want a secure system. We got the people to make this system work properly with no flaws, where we can sit at home and vote. You have to worry about being
What
in line.
makes you think we have the people? Like every day on the news, something is getting hacked.
That is true, man. That's true. But I'm saying,
true stories.
Hire the hacker.
Like somebody's card got declined on somebody's first date because some corporation got hacked.
That's real.
And so, like, the idea that we gonna be able to do electronic voting and nothing bad is gonna happen.
I know, man.
That's funny.
But that's the only thing that I can see.
Okay, well,
if
this is your vision. Who am I to stump on your vision? Shame
I'm
on
just saying,
me.
man, like, if we can't leave the house right now, so how they gonna have us out there voting?
Well, okay, so maybe, in your vision, who is running? Who are the 2 or 3 or what's the landscape for you? And is it November when you're voting?
It's real. You know, I really hope, because I keep saying this, man, like, we got to do something. We got to make the best decision right now to bring this 1,000 years of peace, boy. Like, Bernie Sanders, like, I feel like he can bring that with all the things that we need, because people will be in a better, like, I've worked with families in my career that didn't have anything, like walking in their house and I'm wishing that I could give them my money, but I can't because I have a professional job to do. This extra $1,200 per person in a house would do those people some justice. Finally get a bed that their kids can sleep on. Get a refrigerator in the house to actually put food in. Get the repairs they need for their house so it can be more livable. I mean, like those things that we take for granted, there are people out there that are like really struggling and really could like use the extra money. And it will be put to good use because you will be spending money with businesses in the area that you're going to hire to do a particular service anyway, right? And then from there, everybody win. Go ahead.
I agree. And thinking of your 1,000 years of peace, I think a lot of parts of platform could do that. The Green New Deal could do that because why are there so many wars over there in the Middle East, and over what?
Yeah.
Over what?
Oil, man.
Oil. So we cut that out and you already talking about substantial measures towards peace because you won't have a reason to be over there. They can have it. You know?
Akon just gave, over 500 million people electricity for free? Come on, man.
And so I think that's true. So in terms of my November, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of talk out there about whether Joe Biden can
actually beat Trump.
Yeah. And so I don't know what's going to happen. One of my fears, and I could totally see this happening, is that Donald Trump is going to mess around and be president when world peace is achieved.
Like, you think he's going to get that credit?
I don't think that he's going to cause world peace. I think he's going to happen to be the president.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to get
world peace
a part of that
achieved.
credit.
Because right now we're in the middle of the coronavirus epidemic, and what if the General of the United Nations just say, like, I call for a global ceasefire, and that is like a push towards world peace. And I just feel like he just keeps messing things up, and then he happens to stand there when other people solve the problem and get the credit. I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
but
he's...
Go ahead.
Like if you watch if you all watch any of the press conferences, once he steps
Don't
away,
watch them. Don't watch them.
Once he
the
steps
press
away
conferences
from
are
the
all
podium,
fake. Oh my God! Everything
Hold on,
he
hold
says
on, hold
is
on.
wrong.
It's funny though.
It's
but
not
like
funny. It's disturbing.
when he steps away from the podium, and you have somebody else steps in who supposedly is an expertise
They
in
gonna
that
switch his
particular
whole
field,
story.
right? He's looking around, smiling, thinking like, "Yeah, I'm doing this right. This is my show." Like he has that look and that demeanor about him. Like, yeah, they work for me. I told him to say that they doing this for me. Like he got that look on his face, and then when he gets back to the podium, he'll say a few words, and then he'll throw it off to somebody else who I guess he feels is responsible for that particular department. Mike Pence definitely getting thrown under the bus, which I don't care anyway.
I don't feel
because
like Mike Pence is getting thrown under the bus because Mike Pence is doing it to himself. For instance, like every time people ask about the number of masks,
right.
The president will say, we have millions of masks coming, and then Mike Pence will come and say, well, we're working very hard.
Well, we have companies who are,
to get the masks. Like he is just repeating everything Trump said, but with less details, because the details are a lie because they haven't planned any of this out.
No.
But I want to hold that thought and do it on our next episode where we're going to talk all about like the crazy response to the coronavirus. And I promise it'll be funnier than this one. We just got real serious on y'all because politics is a serious thing.
Right, it is.
I was talking to somebody in my family who's older, and I was, asking, hey, who are you going to vote for in the Democratic primary? And they were saying, I don't know. I think I'm going to vote for Joe. I said, oh, okay. What makes you want to vote for Joe? Well, I like Joe. You like Joe? Well, I'm so glad you like him, but why you like him? I don't know. I just like him. And I feel like a lot of our family feel that way. And so I find myself lately, sending little YouTube videos, sending clips, just to give them a different idea of the different ideas that are out there and how we can all benefit. Something that I don't think people realize is both Jesse Jackson and Dr. Cornel West did endorse Bernie Sanders. And so it's kind of like that. Which part of the Black Power fight you on? What side you on? Yeah. Are you a revolutionary or are you a, small step by small step?
I've been speaking revolutionary talk since I was 14, man.
That's right, baby.
So yeah, been down.
When is the time for the revolution?
It's now.
Always.
It's not televised either, so.
All right. Hey. Well, we'll talk to y'all again next time. This has been Efia.
And Al.
So here's the thing.